All right, we're live. It's the Thursday daytime stream. We're starting at 5. We intend to end by 6. Let's go ahead and get the monetization on. I need to make $5 from this stream. Very nice. Should have started at 4. Someday we'll get it down to 4. All right, just got to go to bed earlier, probably. Hi, mister. He's here. It's me. I'm here. That's correct. Ah, man, Karis was pulling me away, man. She was off early a little bit. She was just trying to hang out with me so hard. Hot, new, vintage pack breaks. Tyranitar break. What else we got that's really interesting? Anything else that's really sticking in your mind? I mean, Terra Festival just keeps selling through. Live card shop. All right. There we go. Let's jump over here. We're going live for, what's today? Thursday? Thursday. Very good. All right. Very good. What's this? Oh. My wife successfully filed something and I didn't even notice. Good. Okay. By the way, that is one advantage to being married is your spouse might help you with stuff. All right. Very good. She was mentioning that I had to file something the other night and then she just did it for me. Because you probably knew I was going to forget. All right, here we are. Let's talk about the breaks real fast. We got a lot of cool breaks, guys. Lots of cool breaks. Okay, you guys ready? I'm doing this at the beginning of the stream because if you're going to rewatch... Oh, here, let's turn on the iPad. People who rewatch this will get to see. Very good. Let's close this up. Let's grab this. Let's grab these. Tomorrow, Alexis comes in and does the shipping. What the hell is this music? This is Smash Brothers music? That was Pikmin or something like that. What are these at? Turn this down a little bit. All right. So check this out. This is a 1 in 4 break for a PSA 10 Shiny Star V-Pack. We've got the Crobat Box Topper, a pretty much like once in a year kind of break. We just don't host these kind of breaks very often. It's very special. Box Topper. Okay. That one has moved, adds a certain velocity. Here are 2 vintage pack breaks. This is the new Elite booster pack break because it's more expensive. And this is the cheaper one because it's cheaper. How nice. By the way, this one offers a $1,000 Lugia inside of it. It's a really nice Lugia. So this is a very nice pack. That's why that one's so popular. Okay, we've also got this bow tie break. This is the rare candy break, Raikou. Okay, Raikou just started. It's all the way at the beginning. He's got a lot of spots. He's a really expensive one. Here is Tyranitar. So Tyranitar is probably going to move pretty fast. He's a 1 in 15. There's 4 spots in there already. The Shinji break. Shinji break about to become the Star break. Second here. Here's the Mew. So this Mew didn't move at all yesterday. So maybe people are finally tired of this one. So we might offer a different break. But yeah, that one was just really popular for a few days. Here's Poker. Poker's up to 8 now. So we got 8. Pretty neat. This is the oldest break, I think, the Poker break. And we have Pinsir over here, Spectra Pinsir. So those are the main breaks. Notably, I ended the Star Wars break. The Star Wars break wasn't moving at all. And so Queen Amidala, she went off into the girl waifu shuffle box. So she's in there now. And the Sebulba card, here's the Sebulba card. I got to price this guy up. He's really nice. All right. So there we go. Those are the breaks. I've now shown them off. I'll put this one here. Put the Mew here. Shinji, Poker. There we go. Cool. Where is the grill break? Oh, the grill break. Yes. So here's the grill break. It's up to 7 out of 14 spots. It's halfway done. Features this very expensive contract card and this not as expensive contract card on the back. There it is. Turn this down a little bit. This WarioWare music. Yesterday was kind of a slow day, and I'm not surprised. It was the day after Christmas, and I felt like there were no new card sets, but not just that, everyone's got to be pooped. I mean, Think about the amount of Terra Festival that keeps getting open. It's a shocking amount. People just love Terra Festival, and people have been going so deep. And so I felt a certain slowdown yesterday. Here's Nido King. People aren't made out of infinite money, you know what I mean? There we go. Yo, merry birthday. What? Look at all this. Ooh. This is a nice one. This Crystal Charmeleon, I mean. That one, in my opinion, is going to sell. That Crystal Charmeleon is going to sell. Oops, close that. Watching some TikTok there. That was a comedian. Let's go ahead. That was Key and Peele. Let's go ahead and find out what this should be selling for. They're doing a skit on black ice. Crystal. Let's see. So it looks like his price can come down very slightly. 164. 164. We have ours at 170. Let's go ahead and update this. Do you prefer CGC Pristine or PSA 10 for long-term holds? Well, to be honest, CGC Pristine. But those typically cost more. So I don't mess with them as often. Because the PSA 10 is fine. So I'll do either. I think the Pristine's really good. Yeah, there's no... Oops, I did that again, didn't I? There's no doubt about it. The Pristines are hard to get, and they're usually very good. So they hold those to a very high standard. And a Pristine's a very nice card. Yeah, it's a very nice card. Actually, we just sold some Pristines. Mr. Ivan, my name, just put these in the slab-away. For those of you who are more new and don't know what slab-away is, it's the ability to pay down a slab over 6 months. There's a little fee associated with it, a $20 fee. $40 down payment to get started. $20 goes toward the slab, and $20 is a fee to reserve the card for 6 months. Then you get 6 months to pay it off, and that's it. And you can cancel it if you need to cancel it. You have to have it half paid off by the 3-month mark, by the way, so it has to be half paid off 3 months in. And what I really look for is if you've made any payments. If you've made no payments within 3 months, I might early cancel it on you. It is $240. So those are some Pristines. They just sold. You kind of remind me. I wanted to go shopping for some Pristines. I wanted to go shopping for some Pristines. You're reminding me of that. There's gold, there's crypto, there's stocks, and then there's the best thing to invest in of all, and that is collectibles. Collectibles. It's that special quadrant of investable items where it's a lot messier, it's a lot more chaotic, it's way more speculative. But it's kind of like the way, you know, people, let's see. Wow, this guy has a lot of stuff. What is this music, dude? Okay, give me a second here. All right, so I was going to look into this. Okay. Wow, this guy's got a lot of CGC 10s. That's crazy. He's got like some CGC perfect 10s. You think I should buy those perfect 10s? I'll come back to that. This guy's got a good account. He's got a bunch of unupgraded CGC 10s. I just ran into that guy. All right, let's see if there's any orders in the queue real fast. Morning from Australia. No orders so far. That's all right. That's because we are just starting. So, guys, if you are new and you're watching this stream, you order from the description. We take all kinds of payment methods. PayPal, ZELLE, CASHAPP, crypto. Venmo's new. Venmo. Oh, actually, we just got Mr. Chen Zeg Fong. Here we go. All right, well, let's get started. We're going to be live for 1 hour for the Thursday daytime stream for 2 Japanese classics and 2 holo shuffles. Oh, yeah, I like those Japanese classics are really fun. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oops, that's 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right. Good luck in there. 2 cold ones. Oof. The holo shuffles have been extremely popular lately. I think people appreciate that they're shuffled each time. So here's the classic collection. And I got to get rid of all these bags back here. And here we go. You ready? All right. 1, 2. Good luck. All right. Oh, War Turtle Raichu. Very nice. Blastoise Incorporated. So this is what you get from the Japanese Classic Collection. You always get a Pokemon card. No trainers, no energy cards. It's always a Pokemon now. and it gives you a random shot at a Charizard. Do you guys want it to go back to the old style where there was there were trainers and there were energies? Because back then they were like $30 a piece for a shot. Now I like this system better because you can cram a lot more cards into a small box. I like this system better in the end. All right. I guess the other system you could get really lucky on $3. Let's see. Oh, your bag's gonna be up here. Yeah, the old style. So the old style of the classic collection is 1/3 of the box was hollow, or 1/3 of the box was energies, 1/3 of the box was trainer cards, and then 1/3 of the box was Pokemon. Because that's how they naturally come out of those decks, right? And so everything would be $3 each. And you could have a really bad round where you open like 5 of them and all of them are energy cards and trainers, which sucked. But you could also have this really crazy good luck where maybe you open up a couple cards and they're all Pokemon. So it increased the stakes sort of, but it also lowered the price. With the current system, it's $9 per pull, which feels a little higher, but you're guaranteed to hit a Pokemon card. So that means each deck, about 2/3 of the deck has been removed, and you're only hitting Pokemon. So it's sort of like a different style. When we first introduced that, people seemed to really like it, but the demand for the demand for those classic collections kind of died down a bit. Drill the Raichu, please. Which Raichu? What is this music, man? This is, wow. That is music from Wario. Let's go to this Animal Crossing. There we go. All right, well, thank you, Mr. Vong. And there you go. That's the first order of the day. Let's go ahead and focus on pricing up some slabs. We need to do that really bad anyways. Ready? All right, what do we got here? Oh, a Wave 3 Golem. I feel like something like this needs to get posted on eBay. I'm going to be selling off some of my... Oops. I'm going to be selling off some of my cards on eBay lately. And the reason for that is because we are officially saving up to move to a new home. So I'll be lowering some of my holdings. We are listing odd items up on eBay probably. Joey Albrecht, Topps Venomoth PSA 10, 2 spots in the Tyranitar slab, 100 to my slab-away. Ooh, the Venomoth. Yeah, he got cheaper, didn't he? Where'd he go? Is he still here? Ooh, hey, where'd we put him? He got cheaper, the Venomoth did. There he is. Haha. So I gotta go mark him as sold. Move this out of the way. That is a good one. And when he got cheaper, he got even more tempting. Let's see. This will be under all slabs. Doobie doobie doo doo doo. Click. Venomoth sold. All right. Since I've been watching you the past couple years, y'all have gotten like 4 or 5 homes. Something like that. I mean, it's complicated. Really, all we did was we moved to the blue house, and then we moved to this house. That's it. And it's been 6 years. We've been moving around a lot, but we also, we've been working real hard too. We're going to sell all of those other homes and roll them all over into one home, we think. And we haven't picked exactly where to live. We are leaning pretty strongly toward Reno, Nevada. We are. But one thing we're sure about is we should probably leave Missouri. Missouri's charging us 5% of our entire income to live here. And there's all these states that don't do that. Ooh, this music's kind of annoying. Okay. So he says 2 spots in the Tyranitar. Hell yeah, dude. This Tyranitar, by the way, is one of the most popular breaks that we ever host. So I keep him in my inventory all the time because he's that popular. I always keep this guy in my inventory. He is a very popular break. Come to Texas. Yeah, Texas is an option. Joseph Albrecht. Maybe there's a place in Texas that has fewer natural disasters. We're kind of looking for that. We don't want to get hit by natural disasters. Not when I'm holding so many valuable cards, because if we're going to be in a natural disaster zone, we have to buy insurance for that natural disaster. So what would be really clever would be to move to a place with almost no natural disasters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't stop everything, but if you move to Miami, Florida, you're probably going to deal with hurricanes. So we would buy hurricane insurance, and we think that that would actually lower the profitability of these cards. It would. Holding all these cards would be less popular. Not less. No, it would be very popular, but it would be less profitable. It's very important. You know, crypto guys don't got to deal with this shit. Crypto guy, he just buys his Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin stays in the internet. But when you are sitting on a lot of Pokemon cards, you got to worry about hurricanes and be like, I don't want them to get hit by the hurricanes. Hey, mister, I had a box of Nikkei on pre-order. I'd like to swap for a couple spots of Tyranitar. I have a credit to make a few dollar difference. Yeah, I don't mind. Let's see. Sounds good to me, Phil. All right. So you had a box of Nikkei, and instead of a box of Nikkei, you would like to have 2 spots in the Tyranitar. Sounds good to me, man. I don't blame you at all for that. That card's special, man. Good luck in there. Maybe you pull it. Okay, so he also needs 100 to his slab-away. Joseph Albrecht. Thanks, Joseph. Hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas. 2130. There you go. Did you guys hear Trump joking about taking Canada? He was joking about Canada joining the United States, and I think he was talking about a famous hockey player becoming the governor of Hawaii. How crazy is that? Did I say Hawaii? Of Canada. Sorry, Hawaii is a place that's been on my mind too. So it's the dementia setting in. Here's Marco Arboleta. He says, for my wife, she wants 2 Terra festivals. Your wife? My wife. Mamma mia. Welcome to Ken Touch Me. I'd live closer to Central Texas. Very early stream. Hey, mister, I had a box of Nikkei. My older brother lives between both those cities, and it's not bad out there at all. Any Pokemon Tops Chrome, Techno, or Sparkle slabs up for sale? Slab-away. Techno or Sparkle? I do have some Sparkle Pokemon Tops. I believe I have Blastoise, I have Cubone, and I have Charizard. All 3 of those are cards I really like. I don't know if I'd sell the Charizard because I feel like he's the hardest one to get back. But the Cubone and the Blastoise could be up for sale. Oops, here we are. What do we got? Oh, all right. I think I saw the Cubone last listed at 2.5 thousand. I don't know what the Blastoise is at. What retro you got right now for us? Speaking of retro, that is something I could sell. I need to sell my Pokemon video games. Those graded games, those are holding a lot of money right now for me. That would be an item for me to liquidate. Marco Arboleta. Here it is, Marco. Okay. Read my previous message, thanks, says Mr. Zen. He says, did you by chance receive an email regarding customs fee, says Zen. Zen, I did not. What was the, tell me all about it, Mr. Zen, or you can also talk to me in Discord. Let me check my emails. Nothing there. Nothing there. He said, okay, that's good. Nothing there. Oh, are you just wondering where your stuff is? Well, they would contact you before they contacted me, I'm pretty sure. The package has been in customs for a week, might just be Christmas. Yeah, I'm sure it's just Christmas. Here we go. Antonio Suevas, Tyranitar spot. Yo, Tyranitar is blasting off again right now. Holy cow, man. It is all of a sudden all the way up to 7. Time to start selling your bathwater. Oh, if only it was that easy. We are. No, but we're going to start getting rid of little doodads we don't want anymore. Like if we got like a spare computer or something like that. I think we have a spare computer we're going to sell. We're going to sell our kayaks. We're going to try and sell our boats. We got to get our boats sold, but it sounds like a pain in the butt. Because if we're not going to be here to use them, there's no point in having them. So we got some boats to sell. And, yeah. There's a strip of land we own that's connected to this house. We're tempted to sell that separately right now. And then sell the house later as well. But then again, the house is really unique for having that chunk of land. So I don't know. I don't know if that would work. Don't forget my spot, says Phil. Phil, did you... for some reason, Phil, I thought you had sent in a order for that. Okay, here you go, Phil. So this would be 8 and 9. And it's Philip Adornato. It's Dan the Wise Man. Hello, Dan. Okay, Mr. Phil. There are 6 spots left in the Tyranitar now. Wow, that changes fast, huh? This is one of the coolest breaks that I ever host. People love this break. Okay. Send 40 to slab-away, and then the amount you want to put down. Oh, people asking how slab-away works. It's a $40 payment. I keep 20, and the other 20 goes toward your slab. You then got to start paying your slab down over 6 months. You can kind of do it however you want. Just make sure to make some payments within 3 months. If you make no payments within 3 months, I'm going to consider it abandoned. Okay, so don't do that. Oh, we already marked that down. Okay, you're in. Hey, I missed you. Lebanon, Missouri is far. Yeah. Well, if you're driving down from Tennessee, that is a long drive. And then Lebanon, Missouri is like deep in the state of Missouri. You got to get real far into Missouri. Yeah, you were real close to me, man. I'm telling you, you were just 30 minutes away. I live right next to Lebanon. I live in a place called Camdenton, Missouri. It's part of Lake of the Ozarks. And on occasion, Kirsten and I will drive over there. They got a little main street down there. It's nice to go walking in. And they've got a little Chinese buffet and some other restaurants that we like to hit up. We went to an Italian restaurant out there. That was pretty fun one time. But Lebanon, Missouri, they seem to have some sort of like, I think they do agriculture over there based on they got like these big buildings that look like they're for agriculture. That makes a lot of sense. Agriculture is one of the biggest exports for Missouri. Hey, everyone. Wife depressed because no Crown Brion. Ah, it's not that easy. It's pretty hard to pull Crown Brion. The puppy is amazing. I know. You sent me that picture. It looked very cute. And you saved a lot of money getting it out of Lebanon. Yeah, it's a really small town, and so whatever you paid for it was probably a lot of money to them, right? So they're living in the countryside, and things are cheaper in the countryside. Did I see a Gym Heroes pack? I did. So the Gym Heroes pack is the current vintage pack break. This is the elite vintage pack break on the left, so it's a little pricier. But here it is, Gym Heroes. Look at that. Gym Heroes gives you a chance for Gym Gengar. That's right. Gym Gengar can pop up out of here if it happens to be a heavy pack and if it happens to be that lucky. So it's a great pack to get into. Really good stuff in that. But that Gengar, that Gengar has become extremely expensive. Also, Gym Moltres. Gym Moltres is also a really expensive Moltres in that set. Very popular. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and price up some of these. How much to enter for the Tyranitar slab? Yeah, so the Tyranitar slab is called a break. What you're doing is you're buying booster packs. They're $40 a booster pack. There's 15 booster packs, and there's only one Tyranitar to pull. So that tells you kind of like your odds for the Tyranitar is 1 in 15, and it also tells you the cost per booster pack. When we open the booster packs, somebody will pull a sort of like placeholder card, and it'll be the Tyranitar. You'll be able to swap it out with this. Because, as you know, this is a Pokemon card. It just won't fit into a foil pack very easily because it's graded already. And, yeah, our breaks are very cool. It's something you can't buy at Walmart. You can't buy that at Walmart. You can't buy that on eBay. You got to have, like, a bartender like me host one of these. That's the only way to do it. And we have some of the best breaks. I have so much experience hosting these breaks. I have a ton of experience. So we have a nice thing going on over here. And, yeah, it's a great way to lose $40. Be aware of that. Only one person walks away with that Tyranitar. 14 people will not pull that Tyranitar. This little star indicates that it's a star break, too. So it's actually, the cost is 1 in 14, but there's an extra spot for the star. What is the star? One person will pull this thing called the star, which will shift them over to a different break. So let's say I pull your name out and you've got the star or whatever, right? So you'll probably be moved over to something like this pincer break or this poker break. I'd like to help the poker break soon. Poker break's stuck at 8. But the pincer break is technically supposed to receive the star spots. This is the clearance break. It's indicated by this X and this checkpoint. I'd come up with a new symbol for clearance break. What do you think? Yeah, we got to come up with a new symbol. Should check out New Hampshire, no state or sales tag. Yeah, we have thought about that. That is one of the places we could move to is New Hampshire. You're correct. Yeah, they have a new, and they don't really have any natural disasters themselves. The only downside to them is they seem kind of boring. That's the downside. They seem a little boring. Wow, this music sucks, dude. What is this, Underworld? looking at our music options. How about Smash Brothers Best OST? Sent for a spot in Tyranitar and 1 pack of Terastal. Nice, man. All right, let's see. Super Smash Brothers Full Music Compilation, Ultimate. I want, like, the best Smash Brothers music. I'm going to make a list of the best Smash... Okay, here. This says Best Smash OST. Let's try this out. What do they mean when they say best? Who knows? All right. Did you decide on a move yet? We are strongly leaning toward Reno, Nevada, but we have not 100% decided. It just seems to be the spot that we're landing on. And we won't be able to move for like a year, so it's not going to happen for a while. But it could happen earlier in theory. But we're not trying to rush it or anything. It's just that we need to get our bearings together. And when we're sure, we'll probably start putting in offers. But we got a lot of work to do over here in Lake of the Ozarks before we're actually able to move. Right, like what we want to do, we want to sell off. We want to sell off 2 of the homes over here, and then this last home, we'll clean it up. And if we buy a home somewhere else, we'll pack everything up and get out of here. Then we'll probably sell this home in a sort of like remote way. We'll hire somebody to sell it for us. So we've still got a lot of work to do. We got 2 homes to sell. Here's Polyrath, and by the time those homes are sold, we should have some pretty significant money for a down payment at that point. Visit Nashville to make sure. New Hampshire is not a bad option, mister. Yeah, actually, I guess the only reason we didn't decide on New Hampshire is because it seemed a little more boring. But you're right. New Hampshire is kind of an out-of-the-way... That's an East Coast move, and it seems out of the way of most things. But no tornadoes, no hurricanes in that move either. Yeah, I guess we'll revisit that one and take another look at it. Look at this Polyrath, man. It's so sad that he graded 9. What do you think caused him to grade 9? I would love this card to have graded 10. What exactly causes it to grade 9, you think? Oh, maybe it's up in this corner. Look at this upper corner. Is that on the slab or on the card? Can't actually tell. Seems like the slab has some pressure there. So I can't tell if that is the slab or the card, but it seems like it might be the card. Okay. When does the PSA submission go out? So the PSA submission is all done. There's no editing it at this point, and Miss Alexis is going to have it shipped out tomorrow. But yeah, it's all paid for and locked in now. Polyrath 9. It was his eyes. They're crooked. No! PSA grader had a bad day. My wife. So this is one spot in the Tyranitar break. Wow, the Tyranitar break only has 5 spots left. He moved so fast. I'm telling you, when people really want to move a break, it just moves. And this one, as I mentioned before, is one of my most popular breaks. People love the Tyranitar break. He's a little pricier, but not that pricey. And the ability to pull an Expedition First Edition Tyranitar from the e-reader time period, still so desirable to do. Look at this. So let's take a quick look. Look at that. Wow. Crazy. All right. Very beautiful. Tyranitar is my favorite, a.k.a. Dragonzord. Yes, he's a great one. Okay, 1 Terra pack. Let's get that Terra pack from Mr. Daniel Wiseman. You got a lot going out for grading Brandon. He's got 3 really good cards. Melodic, Jirachi, and Regice. Yeah, Melodic and Jirachi. All right, here we are. We got the Dolphin. Very good. By the way, guys, I am looking around for maybe a new vintage booster box since we finished the Hidden Legends box. So if you are somebody selling a box, or maybe you know somebody that is selling a box, you can always point them my way or point me to them, whichever way you want to say that. But yeah, I'm vaguely looking. I'm not looking super hard, actually. We had a lot of fun with that vintage box. I feel like that was a good thing. I can't remember. Did you need a new bag? Were you in here? I need a payday. I need to open so much more Terra Festival. You like Terra Festival a lot, huh? It's that gym break that has me debating about being a slight degenerate tonight. Say refresh. We have a Jonathan Lewandowski order. Jonathan Lewandowski. He says 1 in the Tyranitar and 100 toward my slab-away. Okay, you got it, man. So Jonathan Lewandowski. We are now headed toward New Year's. That's something the whole world celebrates. There we go. You guys do anything special for New Year's? My family didn't do too much crazy stuff. We would always have, we had a thing where we would have sort of like cheese and crackers, and it'd be fancy, expensive cheese. That's what we did on New Year's. And everyone just stay up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It wasn't ever that special to stay up till 12 a.m. because everyone in my family already did that anyways. Yeah, everyone already did that. It's like, oh, all right, we're staying up till 12. It's like, so what? There we go. I need to grab a dang TCC Team Rocket ring. Oh, yeah, the Team Rocket rings. Jonathan Lewandowski, this ticks down to 900s. Boop. There you go. Thank you so much. And what else do we have? We're going to hit refresh. You getting your kiss from the wife or from us in chat? Oh, I want a kiss from you guys. Andrew A. Martin. 2 Mew EX spots plus a holiday tip. So you would still like to keep that Mew going. All right, you got it, man. That's another round of the Mew, Andrew A. Martin. You know, we ran that Mew break like 4 times, and it finished like 4 times. It's that popular. Here we are. Here you go, Mr. Andrew. So, Andrew, there are... Oops, I called you Martim. There are 8 vintage booster... Not vintage. There are 8 custom booster packs for this break, and there's only 1 Mew. The second pull is the star card. I actually wrote it down here. I should probably have done that here too, because the star card actually does count as a pull. Just messy with it, I guess. Where's a Mew bag? We need a Mew bag. There's the rare candy bag. How about this? That's a vintage booster bag. Here's an Andrew Martinez bag that needs to be thrown away. Let's see. That's a fish bag. Do we have... What happened to the Mew bag? This happens all the time. I lose the old empty bag. It's not up here already, right? It's not like there's somebody already in it, right? Okay, I don't think so. Not there. What about here? Oh, you know what I need to make more of? I need to make more of those custom vintage booster packs. Okay. Ugh. Come on. Ugh. There we go. So just make a new bag. Now, these bags are like a little stuck together. I don't think the market is going to crash next year at all. Well, Trump is becoming president soon, and I don't know, it could happen. Anything could happen. He's making some wild statements about taking back the Panama Canal. Although, if he does actually get that back, that could be a very good thing for the United States from an economic perspective, because that would mean we wouldn't have to pay maybe as much money to get our ships in and out of the Panama Canal, which is a shortcut for shipping. So it's a curious thing, you know. I don't think that'll happen, though. I really don't. And then he wants to buy Greenland. And I think he's hinting that he wants Canada I think he's hinting pretty loudly that he wants Canada. And so how would he afford those things? He would just have to print up U.S. money and just buy them. But in the long run, I think those are investments. I think if he got Greenland, I think that Greenland's full of like, it's got to be full of like, you know, minerals or whatever we call it. It's got to be full of resources like oil or whatever we used, lithium or something like that for batteries. It's got to be full of that stuff. And it gives them access to the Arctic in a better way, in a way that America currently doesn't have that well. We've got like Alaska, right? But Greenland goes all the way up there if you look. So I can understand why he wants it. Are there rare earth materials in Greenland? Very likely. Almost definitely. It's a huge, huge chunk of land. It's a really colossal chunk of land. Oh, let's write this down. Canada has a lot of empty space still. Yeah. Yeah, actually, when you think about Canada, they might not be utilizing that space as well as they could be because they might not have the same resources that a place like America has. So even though Canadians are probably heavily against the idea of being part of the United States, it could secretly benefit them more than they realize because it would, even though the socialism would probably end, the quote-unquote free healthcare, that would probably end, and the school system would probably change as well. What would become better is you would unlock all of the power of the federal government to do stuff with that land. And so, it might become extremely profitable. Plus, there's no more taxes between the two countries, right? So you can just have anything we have and we could have anything you have. There's no more border where we're like exchanging goods at this tax rate. So there's certain benefits to it. I think connecting yourself to such a large country could actually be hugely beneficial. But then again, you would have to accept a lot of changes, and I don't think people like change, so I don't think they would want it. They'd be like, nah, we're self-governed. Why would you give up the self-governing? Mr. Matt Hansen says $75 toward Ditto Squirtle. Ooh, Mr. Matt, some slab-away payments coming in. Mr. Matt Hansen, thank you so much. This will come down to $375. There we go. As a Canadian, I would be glad if Trump bought us out. The Northern Territories are barren, all snow. Howdy, Mr. The order I just sent, I forgot to mention it was a slab-away. Have no fear, I already applied it. Joseph Jones got coal for Christmas. No, not Joseph Jones. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty tough to live up to. If you go up too far north, it's really hard to live up there. Just snowy all the time. Here we go. Marco Arboleta. For my wife, she wants 5 Korean EV heroes. Bleeding me dry. Oh, no. All my wife does is spend my money. All right. No, but all of a sudden, Canada would be able to trade with all of the other 50 states. And there's no barrier to that anymore, right? Like when I sell something to Alaska or Hawaii or even a territory like Puerto Rico, there's no barrier. There's no like, oh, we got to check the goods and the goods there has to be an import fee that goes to this whole import fee organization. And we have to hire people to run that organization. And we have to have politicians to debate over it. All of that goes away instantly. All of a sudden, you can just do trade across the border instantly. There's no extra fees. And so that means selling stuff, buying stuff. And America in general is a much, much, much wealthier country than Canada. And one of the reasons for that is because that's how we treat each other. You've got all these states, they're all producing goods, and they all trade with each other. And trade and production and trade is a very good thing, right? Like if suddenly you could get goods from the United States on the cheap, that's actually a good thing. And if Americans can buy stuff from you cheaply, they buy more stuff. So you're producing more goods. But again, the downsides is the federal government doesn't provide socialized health care. They do provide Obamacare, if you've never heard of that. That's a public option for health insurance. So America has a very different health care system where you buy into this thing called health insurance. A lot of people really don't understand health insurance. Health insurance is basically like the lottery. That's how it works. It's like a reverse lottery. So the way this lottery works, healthcare is really expensive, right? So you buy a lottery ticket called health insurance. And if you get sick, you win the lottery. Someone else pays for your healthcare. That's the idea. So healthy people pay for sick people. And the way that is doled out is through insurance. Everyone, the whole community buys into the insurance, and only the sick people get paid out. So that's how it works. It's healthy people subsidizing sick people. And that's how you're able to afford your healthcare. So it's a lottery is what it is. And like the United Healthcare CEO, his company runs the lottery. Except the group that runs the lottery, they always like to skim a little off the top for themselves. That's how they make a profit. They're like, yeah, we'll host the lottery, and we'll decide, how much to pay out with the doctors. We'll negotiate with the doctors. We'll negotiate with the patients not to spend too much, and we'll host the lottery. And for doing that, we want a profit. So that's what health insurance is. It's a big lottery system, and that's what Canadians would end up having. They would have, instead of just socialized, subsidized healthcare straight from the government, you would now have to purchase this new thing called health insurance. And when you get sick, you will have to use your health insurance card to pay for the health insurance. So my wife, she gets health insurance as part of her employment. Her company provides it. It's a part of her benefits. And when we have to go to the doctor, we don't pay anything. It's just paid for through that health insurance. But if I got a really bad illness, presumably I would have to pay some of it. That's kind of how it works. So the health insurance will say, okay, well, we cover some of it, but you're going to also have to cover some of it if it's too unusual of a sickness, or the policy that you bought doesn't cover that particular problem. You know what I mean? Or like you want a cosmetic change. Well, that's too bad. We don't cover cosmetics. You can increase your health insurance by buying a more expensive policy. So it's like buying a bigger lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? So there's different policies to buy, and you're supposed to shop for them. The problem is a lot of younger people don't understand any of this. They don't understand health insurance at all. They're young, they're healthy. In fact, most young people are just going to work and then paying for old people's policies. So you go to work and someone else benefits from your work. Depending on how far north in New Hampshire you lived, Boston's an hour away, which has plenty to do. Wish me luck in poker tonight. If I win big, I'm going to purchase some cool stuff. The Canadians have a Federal Reserve, but it's full of barrels of maple syrup. Is it instead of gold? Hey, man, don't mess with the maple syrup supply. That's good stuff. All right, here's Golbat. All right. Glaceon. Here's Kakuna. Here's Charizard. But yeah, in general, when a poorer country joins a wealthier country, that's a benefit for the poorer country. That's how the EU worked too, European Union. So places like Germany, France, and the UK were not benefiting when a country that like Greece joined, right? Like Greece had a lot of financial problems. I don't think Canada's in the same position as Greece at all. Greece was in a lot of trouble. But the point is that, if you've got a big country that can just print money all day if it wishes, and everyone in the world kind of just has to put up with it, that's actually a benefit to be a part of that system, believe it or not. So a lot of Americans complain about the money system, not really understanding that what America's doing primarily is, yes, it steals from the American people when it prints. It also steals from the whole world. And that is a crazy advantage. Here's Marco Arboleta. It's also why Trump is working very hard to try and cancel BRICS. He doesn't want BRICS. He says, you guys are going to use US dollars, and then we're going to print them. All right. In fact, in history, this might be the only time in history a country has ever gotten the whole world, to use its currency and then still be able to print that currency. It's stealing from the whole world. Any country holding US dollars in its banks for trade is being stolen from as the United States government prints more money. 10 years ago, Canada was very successful. We are. You ready? I don't know exactly what could be going wrong in Canada, but it's probably the same problems faced in many countries. You have a democracy, and the people probably voted for everything to be free, and the Canadian government can't collect enough taxes to make everything free. But they run their campaign on the promise of everything being free and affordable. And so they say, this is free, that's free, we'll pay for this, we'll pay for that. And they also do this thing where they import a lot of people who might, some of them end up on the welfare system. So you have this giant socialized welfare system that no one can really afford. Ooh, that's a cold round. I'm sorry, Marco. They can't really afford it. That's the big problem. If you could just afford infinite, help for other people, you'd be great. But you actually just can't afford to do that. And so this bankrupts the country slowly. They go, well, we have a spending deficit. We have a spending deficit. So how do they deal with the deficit? Well, they deal with it by printing up money or debt. The United States prints up debt is what it does. The U.S. government prints debt, and then they trade that debt with the central bank for cash. So the central bank buys the debt. And the United States government now has to pay interest. So, and it can't pay the interest, so it has to print even more. So it just keeps printing up debt like crazy. And that's why we're in this huge debt. Can I drill that Charizard? You can drill the Charizard. I don't mind. Any chance you could toss one of those empty packs in my bag as well? Wife likes the artwork. Empty packs. The Korean EV Heroes. This stuff right here. You want an empty pack in your bag? I can do that for you. Not a big deal. Anyway, so countries, when they can't afford all the socialism, and for example, usually healthcare, they have to cheat. They have to do stuff like sell off some of your assets to Saudi Arabia. Chicago did that, actually. Chicago sold its parking spots to the Middle East to pay for all of its problems. And now the Middle East charges you a parking fee to park in Chicago. And instead of that money going to your fellow Chicagoan or to the Chicago government, it goes to the Middle East. It goes to a competing country in the Middle East. So you work for them. You go to work and then you pay them to park in your own country. How stupid is that? That's really pathetic. And but that's what countries do. They start selling off their special assets to cover their failed finances. And the solution is the same. You have to reduce spending. And reducing spending often means you have to stop giving money away for free. But nobody will vote for that. So this is why I think democracies really do not work very well. And this was something the Founding Fathers already learned. They learned that by studying Greece, by the way. All right, Marco Arboleta. Okay. For bro, it's over for me. 5 more Korean EV Heroes. 5 more? Is that right? Is this the 3rd Korean EV? Did I do that right? Yeah. 5 more. You got it, man. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the United States government, the building is in the style of the Roman Empire. Look at our buildings. So the United States government, the buildings are always like the Roman Empire. That was not a mistake. The Founding Fathers' original vision for the United States is that we would be the new Roman Empire. That was their vision. And they wanted to avoid the mistakes of the past where there were previous democracies that fell. They said, well, what goes wrong? What goes wrong is people start voting to give themselves stuff, and then it all collapses. This is why the Founding Fathers limited who could vote. They said landowners only. So you couldn't just be like a guy going around voting. You had to be like invested into the country. There's landowners only. And this was a way to restrict the vote. And many of the Founding Fathers made disparaging remarks about democracy. They said, democracy is when the country fails. But over time, America actually expanded who could vote dramatically. We are. So now, and the latest thing is we want to let felons vote. That was Bernie Sanders introduced that when he was running. And 16-year-olds. Felons and 16-year-olds. We are? Ooh, Marco Arboleta. So we keep pushing to expand who votes, but that's not necessarily a healthy or good thing for the country. If literally 16-year-olds were voting, they might vote for really stupid ideas like, hey, everything should be free. Well, when everything is free, it's because you're in a communism. That's what you're in. Because how's the government going to pay for all the free stuff? Mr. Aovic says, new bag, 3 Korean EV Heroes, 1 Twilight Masquerade. Oh, no, this is where Aovic snipes you, dude. 3 of these, 1 Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade. You are. Weren't the Founding Fathers hardcore marijuana users? You know, I hear guys say that kind of stuff. I don't know how true that was or not. We are. All right. They were very young. The Founding Fathers were young men. Compared to our leaders today, they were like babies in age. But the Founding Fathers were very educated. They read books in philosophy. They read books. They wrote books in economic finances. They debated ideas about whether there should be a central bank. Many of them were against that idea. There we go. And the Boston Tea Party was over a tax that was such a small percentage of the income. It's like something that we would be shocked by today. We would be like, what? Because nowadays we just accept gigantic 50% taxes. And even if they don't look like they're 50%, they are. because you have to add it all up. Income tax, federal, state, property tax, personal property like your car gets taxed. When you buy something, you get taxed. Certain companies have to be taxed extra in secret, and they pass that on to you, the consumer, like the gas companies. So the government just taxes the shit out of you, and you can't see it, but they take about half of all your stuff, and we're just used to that. We just say, okay, we think it's all good. But the government really does just kind of waste some of that money now. And so maybe this is why Donald Trump's got this thing going on where he wants to have the government efficiency or whatever. You know, Elon Musk wants that. It was because all that really needs to happen is the government needs to stop spending so much, especially on stuff it's got no business spending money on. Yep. Anyway, so if Canada's having troubles, it might look something like that. They might have a similar problem to us where the government spends way more than it brings in. And why are we allowing this? We should just say, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. It's got to come to an end. All the endless free things, all the endless wars that you can't actually afford. There you go. All right. Saving the world from homelessness. We can't afford that, maybe. You know, it's just not a thing you can do anymore. You can't afford it. Saving the world from homelessness is impossibly expensive. You could drain all your money into the world to try and save it from homelessness, and it would still not be enough money. There we go. All right. I hate Zard. Anyway, so we're talking about finances a little bit. I love talking about finances and economics. Stephen Woolridge says, 1 Gym Hero spot, 1 box of Terra. You got it. 1 Gym Hero spot. Woolridge. Many people actually blame the wealthy. They say, hey, it's the wealthy's fault. They just don't pay enough taxes. But I would argue it's actually just because we're finding new ways to increase spending. We're saying, well, we need to spend more. The government needs to spend more money on free stuff. We can't afford that. Well, how can we afford it? Well, rich people need to pay more taxes. But the wealth gap is really a really frustrating thing, you know, that's really bad sometimes too. Again, I was talking about how after studying real estate in California, I can see why so many Californians are socialist. Because if you look at like the Malibu beach houses and stuff like that or whatever. This is my beach house in Santa Barbara. This is my beach house on Myrtle Beach. This is my beach house in Long Beach. You know, stuff like that all over the country, all these beautiful beach houses. And they're all like $30 million if you want a really good one, like in the right place, nice size, view of the ocean. And you think to yourself, some asshole's living there. And I can't even afford a home. And I'm 35. You know, when you look at that, you go, okay, there's a problem here. The rich people need to pay more taxes, right? So I totally get that. I think I understand it more when I look at the houses in California. You know, I usually only have to look at houses over here in Missouri. It's a very different place over here. There we go. It would take a fraction of our military spending to solve hunger and homelessness. Now, you say that, but my theory is if you take that money and you give it away to the homeless, they will never again look for a job. They will say, okay, where's the next paycheck? And then what will happen is when other people who are working, let's say really shitty jobs, people who are on the brink of homelessness, when they see all that free money just being handed out, they'll say, I'm quitting my job too, and I'll get on the benefits as well. So you actually cause more homelessness the more money you hand out. Where do I have proof of this? Look at California. California is so nice to the homeless. And as a result, they have way more homelessness. And the countries that are, or not countries, the states that are most vicious toward the homeless, they have less homelessness because the homeless say, oh, crap, I better get a job. No one's taking care of me here. It's like a bad friend living in your home, a bad roommate who doesn't pay rent. And you're like, oh, man, you're homeless? Tell you what, bro, I'll cover your food and I'll cover the rent. And then he goes, cool. How long you want to do that for? Maybe forever. You know, it's like, wow, I don't have to work now. So the more money you give away for free, the less incentive anyone has to work. And there's exceptions to that rule. I think there's people who are just down on their luck and they love to work. I think the majority of them are not people who are down on their luck and they love to work. I think a lot of them are just drug users. They love using drugs and they love not going to work. So that's a bigger problem. You have to kind of cattle prod people and be like, stop doing the drugs. And you have to cattle prod them and tell them, get back to work. You know, they have to go produce goods for themselves. Just like if you lived in the wild. If you lived in the wild, no one feeds you. You have to go hunt, farm, build a house, a shelter. You have to go produce things. So in a society that's too generous, ooh, you got the bear. This is such a good drawing. In a society that's you have too much empathy. Do you guys think that's possible? I think it's possible. If you have too much empathy, you just get taken advantage of. You get people who go, I'm not changing. Look, I got all this free stuff. Why would I? That doesn't mean I'm not going to go work at McDonald's. I'm not going to have this humiliating job where I have to serve people. I'm not taking this humiliating job that pays almost nothing. I'm just going to live off the government benefits forever. And so this is a problem in Germany. This is a problem in the UK. This is a problem in Canada. Oh, look at this little guy. There's a problem in Canada. It's a problem in the United States, but not as big of a problem in the United States because in many ways, the United States is not as generous. But it's close. And the people who really pay for all that are you and me, people who go to work. We pay for that. And because our arms are so twisted and you're told, feel bad, feel bad, feel bad, feel bad. Oh, you're so wealthy. You really should have to pay for all this stuff. Because you feel so twisted, your arms all twisted, you say, yeah, I need to pay for this. Here we go. So it is possible to lack empathy, where you need to be able to look at people and understand what they're going through and be like, whoa, this system is effed up. I think it's also possible to have too much empathy and you're like a battered wife. You know, I can fix him. I can fix him. He just needs a little more love and then he'll be good. This person just needs a little more love and then they'll start treating me right. No, not at all. Some people you cannot help. And that's something that's, I think, very easy for Republicans to accept. And I think it's very hard for Democrat liberals to accept. Sometimes they go, no, you can fix them. You can fix them. You just need to throw more money, more free money at them. And the problem is solved. Sometimes that's not the solution. It just doesn't work. You could go broke handing out free money to people. You really could. And so that is a tough idea to have to accept. It might go against your personality type. You know, politics really is in a lot of ways just personality type. So it might go against your personality type. You might be more sympathetic. You might be more hopeful. Maybe a Republican is more neurotic. Maybe they're more skeptical. You know, maybe they don't like people as much. I don't like them. So that's all it really comes down to sometimes. It's just personality type. But you really ought to start looking at, like, how our country's doing. Like, the United States is broke, dude. Look at our debt. It's insane. Our debt is actually insane. And look at Canada. They're struggling financially. Look at pretty much all of Europe. All of Europe is struggling financially. No GDP growth, no babies. And they're saying, well, we have no babies and no GDP growth. I guess we'll import the Middle East. So that's what they go. They go, we'll import anyone from anywhere, and that'll fix the problem too. But then what they trigger is economic migrants who go, wait a second, you've got a generous welfare system. I'm on the way. And then all of a sudden your welfare system is paying for every failed country anywhere. Like, you're not getting a bunch of rich people from the UAE. They're not moving into Germany. They're not going, hey, we'll come in and pay lots of taxes. We love paying 50% taxes as opposed to zero taxes in the UAE. You don't get those guys. Those guys stay in the UAE. They say, no, this is way better. I'm not moving to Germany. I'll visit Germany. I'll invest in Germany. I'm not moving there. So when you have too generous of a welfare system, you just import all the homeless. And so you have to have a rule that says no homeless. But if you create that rule, everyone calls you a racist. Here's the thing, one Terra festival. You're a racist. You don't like me because your skin's pale and mine's not. So the moment you create a rule like that, you're called a racist. And so this is a problem for Canada. This is a problem for the UK. This is a problem for Germany. It's a problem for the United States. It's a problem all over the place. It's like a whole, you know, that's just the, ooh, look at that, another bear. Hathim, you get a bear. 2 bears in a row. Anyways, so that kind of stuff is going on. And the question is, what is the solution? It would be very nice if we could just pull money out of a hat like a magician. That would be nice. Here we are. It would be really nice if everyone just became super smart and super productive too. That would work too. So the theory is, if you import a lot of people, your country's GDP will grow. That could work, actually. That could be the outcome. That would happen if everyone who you imported was off of welfare and producing goods and being a net tax contributor. There we go. So that could work. That is one of the theories. Here is Christopher Houghton, 2 Terra festivals. Let's grab it. Yeah, you import a lot of people. They're a net tax contributor, and everyone's happy and claps, and it's like, yay! Everyone sings Kumbaya. It's great. But as it turns out, I don't think that always happens. I think sometimes it becomes a big problem, actually, with the welfare system. And people vote for more and more taxes. The government taxes the private, sector, and then they spend all that money on Ukraine. They go, we need more money for Ukraine. Because Russia's going, ooh, these places are weak. They're weak as hell. They're divided. They're fighting with each other. They don't have any money. They don't want this war. And I've got nuclear bombs. I'm going after Ukraine. And so now we're in this struggle where if we were united strongly and we had lots of money, Russia would lose very easily. Russia would have no shot. Oh, you only needed 2. Oops. I was acting like you're buying 2 boxes. I'm so silly. Here we go. Russia would lose really fast if we were united and we had lots and lots and lots of spare money. But we just don't. We're very divided and we have very little money. And Russia senses that weakness. I promise you China does too. They want Taiwan. Remember, they want Taiwan. And aggressive countries in the Middle East want things, like Iran wants things. So every country is watching our weakness going, ooh, these guys are weak right now. No, not the mask. Ta-da! All right. Marcus Crassus was a G in ancient Rome. Marcus is wondering how many packs there are left in the EV Heroes Korean box. There are some, but I'm not allowed to disclose that number, okay? There we go. All right. It has to be made. That's a private number. Here we are. We try to make it harder for people to snipe a box, essentially. There we go. I'm from Taiwan. F China, bro. Here we are. Yeah, China is it's like a big animal, and so is America. America's like a big animal. They're both hungry for success, and China wants to succeed and implements its ideologies, and America wants to succeed and spread democracy, which it assumes everyone wants, and it assumes is very good. Which I think it probably is. I think democracy overall has led to a higher quality of living for most people. But look at China, man. They got some pretty advanced cities. They're the second most prosperous country in the entire world. And they're developing a pretty powerful military. They got good technology. They built TikTok. So it's looking like a close race, Democracy has to prove itself that it produces the best products. It produces the most freedom and comfort and happiness for the people inside. And China's trying to say, nah, we do. And they want to establish the BRICS currency. They want to get rid of the American, globalist currency dominance, where America can force everybody to trade in U.S. dollars, and then we're allowed to print U.S. dollars, essentially stealing from all these countries, right? So those countries should wish to get rid of the U.S. dollar and trade in gold or something like that, maybe Bitcoin. Here's Joey Albrecht. Drill that Zard. He's not kidding. He wants to drill the Charizard. You're crazy, dude. All right, let's go get it. I thought you were joking. I wrote it down in my diary later that night. Veronica had a very funny idea. Here we go. You scorpion woman. All right. You have broken my heart. Ready? Those are all quotes from Anchorman. Drill needs to be charged. All right, so he has paid. Ooh, that makes a really bad smell. I just watched your stream in VR. That was so cool. What? All right, Joey Albrecht, drill that Zard. So PSA 9 Zard celebrations. You got it, man. There we go. All right. Well, that is it. One drilled Zard. Ta-da! Okay, we got some dust now. Let's start by cleaning the dust up a little bit. So yeah, the world needs a solution to a lack of resources pretty much all the time. There's never enough. Ugh. Doesn't matter how much you produce, there's never enough. There's rich jerks who take it all and they run. There's governments who are ineffective or overly ambitious or underly ambitious. There's people who never get jobs and they say, you know, I could get a job, but I'd rather lay around and smoke or something. There's people who need genuine help. They genuinely need help. And maybe they are ignored or there's not enough left for them. It's always a resource problem, though, isn't it? You know, just not enough resources to go around. And if you love the subject of finance, you ask questions like, how do we improve this? How do we improve this? How do we make it smarter? And I really feel like you got to get everybody working. Can't have able-bodied people being at home being like, nah, I'd rather watch Netflix, play on my phone. You can't have that. And as for taxes, you got to tax as much as you can tax without causing yourself to become tax uncompetitive. Very important idea. For example, if a company can just move somewhere else and make way more money avoiding your taxes, you've become tax uncompetitive. And so there is a certain amount you can tax before it's too much. The question is how much? And that's a subject for the Republicans and the Democrats to debate over. We're going to say Joseph Albrecht. $88. There we go. All right, so we write it straight onto the slab. Wow, that's a special one, man. Nice Charizard got drilled. All right, have you ever seen the Chill Teaser Toy Trainer card? I don't think so. We need people working more real jobs, like selling cards on YouTube. Yeah. I do a very important service. Thank you very much. All right. I guess you could say I'm in the entertainment industry. People need to be entertained. Life would suck without entertainment, wouldn't it? Right? Like there's people who they make Star Wars movies. That's a cool job. Yeah. But you gotta have people making Star Wars movies. All right, I'm gonna tell Mike Side to save that clip. You can get in the entertainment industry. You have to want to entertain. All right. Drilled Zard Joseph Albrecht. Wow. You can work for Disney. First on the stream. Chat, what happened to the cheese? What did you write on the slab? I wrote Joseph Albrecht's name. Look it up, best trainer item. Damn, bro, okay. Haha, no way. On that, population control. All right, let's see where we are. So, we are done with that. Spot in the Mew. So here's the Mew. Mr. Joseph. We got this. Oh, look at that Ghastly. Do you feel bad that your electronics have cobalt in them mined by children? I think that if you could provide children an ideal life, they wouldn't have to do that. I think that places that do that kind of work often don't treat their people very well. They don't create very good safety measures. And here's the problem, though. Let's say you took those jobs away and you moved it off to like a first world country. Those places would literally be worse off. They have no work now. They have no money being imported to them for their labor. So that's how your country becomes wealthy. It begins with trading something you have for real money from another country, like gold, right? So, you know, there was times in history where the children in Britain worked hard. There were times where children in America worked hard. When I was a kid, I had to work for my dad starting at the age of 13 to provide for, you know, I had all these siblings. I had 11 brothers and sisters. So I can even relate to it to a certain degree, not perfectly, though, because I'm sure my life was easier than the Cobalt children. But the idea is that this sort of like, I want to say it's like an idea that comes from privilege. So you're so privileged to live in a first world country that you think children should never have to work. And it's like, that's not how survival really works. Your survival is you do whatever you have to do to survive. The children who are actually mining that cobalt, they're not sitting back reading books, you know, in college going, I think that this is the bourgeois putting it on us. You know, they're not doing that. They're just saying, I got to feed my family today. And this is the best way to do it. Better than, rummaging about the garbage or going out into the woods and hunting a boar or something like that. They're saying, no, I'd much rather mine the cobalt. Next up, we have Hathim, 4 Korean EV heroes. Here you go, Mr. Hathim. And also, when you say, well, what's the solution to these people that are struggling? Do you want to just send the money? And that becomes a subject of, first world country politics again. How much money would you like to endlessly send homeless people? Homeless people in another country, how much would you like to open your wallet for and start sending them your money? Because that's what American government and European governments are doing. They're just paying for homeless people all over the world. And now we're broke. We're going broke. We'll be making our children work pretty soon if it gets much worse. So your children are going to have to go to work to survive. In some parts of America, that's not crazy to imagine. Some parts of America are struggling so hard just to buy a home, just to pay rent, that the idea of your kid working is like not that alien. You're like, maybe, because then we could pay for food and rent. So yeah, we're not that far off from that position. And so how much endless spending would you like our government to do to help the people who are struggling over there? And so that's one of my theories, is you can just endlessly help poor people around the world, and then you become homeless. Here's Christopher Went, 3 boxes of Terra Festival and shipping. All is good. President Musk is on his way. Musk! Do you have an opinion on Lord Musk? He seems like he's autistic. He really does. But he's somehow like some super effective leader. I don't know. It's weird. Anytime I see him, he seems kind of like a guy with autism. There we are. And it just works for him really well. All right, here we go. Christopher Went. He has Asperger's or something like that. I wouldn't bet on that guy having normal emotions. He is definitely strange. But if he's building good companies, then, he's a productive member of society. More recently, he's become extremely political. And I think that that's going to hurt his companies, and you're going to see it all come crashing down on him at some point. He's going to step down as CEO of these companies at some point, because his companies cannot be so Republican without losing all of their Democrat customers, right? Like, who's going to want to drive a Tesla if he starts going around wearing a Donald Trump hat? Only Republicans. But, it's not the first time. There were other people who ran big companies that were also politically involved. But, yeah, it's an interesting development. It was good, bro. My niece had a great Christmas, got a lot of gifts. She loved what we got her. Elon got the biggest bag in the world. He's on the spectrum. A lot of geniuses have some type of social issues. Yeah, maybe that's going on for him. I don't know. But he came from an abusive family as well. Here we are. It's kind of interesting. Love your channel. Don't know where to buy your products. Sure, we sell the products in the description. So you'll see methods for payment, and you'll see what's for sale. How long have we been live, by the way? Oh, we've been live for an hour already. Damn, dude. Time flies. Tesla's a funny dynamic. Mostly left-leaning would drive him due to environmental reasons, yet he's going right-wing. Yeah, like, that's got to come crashing down on him at some point, right? I don't understand how that's going to work. Maybe it all just works out. I don't know. I mean, Republicans did just win the majority, the supermajority in the Senate and the House, and the popular vote. So maybe it still works out somehow. But yeah, I mean, taking your company too political to one side, I think, is probably a mistake. We are. Time flies when you're making money. Time flies when you're talking about fun geopolitical politics and social economics. So I went to school for that, I originally went to school for finance. I took macro and microeconomics, and I took socioeconomics, which was a real eye-opener. If you ever go to school, you could take a subject like that, and you'll be using fancy words like the bourgeois. Miss, where do you think our country will be in 4 years? Hopefully way better. Yeah, hopefully people can afford a house. I feel like if people in America can't afford a house, you are heading toward populism, which is what Trump is. He's a populist figure. And it basically it's like a revolution. It's like a counterculture. It's people saying the status quo is bullcrap. Where's my house? Where's my American dream? And I can explain where it went. Every time the government prints debt, they're reducing the purchasing power of your job. So let's say you go to work, you got $30,000 a year at your job, and then the government prints up, like they double the money supply. Well, the purchasing power you used to have from your regular job is terrible now. It went down by like maybe 20%. Did you get a 20% raise to keep up with inflation? No. So now you're poor because your job pays the same $30,000, and those jobs they didn't keep up with inflation. So the government stole your money. And then somebody like Joe Biden turns around and he blames, Jeff Bezos. He says, Jeff Bezos did this to you. No, he didn't. Jeff Bezos did not do that. He's very rich, so he's a jerk because he's very rich, and it's annoying to see him doing so well. But he didn't print all this money. That was the U.S. government. So your job did not go. Oh, dust Your job does not pay you $40,000 or $45,000. Instead, it stays at about 32, but the cost of everything, especially homes, went up by like 40%. Homes went up. Ooh, what do we got? First, homes went up dramatically in price, and then the bank raised interest rates at the same time. So yeah, if you're young and it's time for you to buy a home and have a family, you're screwed. You are out of luck. You are screwed, dude. So the American dream is not possible for many people. And the Democrat strategy is to say, corporations did this, instead of saying, we did this. This was us. They could even just turn around and say, Donald Trump did it. He's the one that agreed to all the money printing. But the government doesn't blame itself. It just doesn't. It blames greedy corporations. As if corporations weren't greedy before the money printing. They were always consistently greedy. It's like a variable. You can just do away with that variable. Corporations have the same level of greed before COVID and after COVID. They didn't change. What did change was all the money printing. So that's what happened. So now no one can afford a home, and you get populists. Donald Trump's a populist. He's a guy who says your government's failed you, and I'm here to do really dramatic changes. So he's the guy who gets in office. Look at this. Ooh. Very nice. But it's really sad. It's bad. It's pretty bad. I don't get it. I was lucky. I already owned property. You got all the boomers, they were buying like Apple stock for like $12 a stock back in the day. Now it's like some $300 stock. Those guys got rich, dude. All these guys who were already invested, because all that printed money, where does it end up at? Well, it all lands somewhere. It lands in real estate, lands in the stock market, lands in gold and silver, some of it lands in Bitcoin. So that's what happens. It's all got to go somewhere, because no one wants to hold U.S. dollars. Why would you hold U.S. dollars? Those are going to shrink in value. So you have to gamble in the investment markets. Ooh, a second Vaporeon. Look at this. So when the government starts printing money, anyone with a financial education, they know they have to put their money somewhere. You did it! That is a Master Ball dust globs. I'd love to have it if you want to trade for it. Here we are. So if you look up the value on that and you want to trade your Master Ball dust globs, let me know, because I am a buyer. We are. So, you know that the U.S. dollar is shrinking fast in value. So you got to park that cash somewhere. So you start buying stuff like real estate, because that's made out of lumber, steel, copper, skill. You start parking it in Bitcoin. You start parking it in Doge. You start parking it in Google stock. And all these things explode in value as all that printed money ends up somewhere. Well, now a young guy straight out of college, he'll never buy a home. He'll be like 40 when he buys a home. When he goes to buy Apple stock, that Apple stock has exploded in cost. I can actually show you that on my phone if you want. What am I missing with the dust globs? The dust globs of Master Ball So I'd love to have a Master Ball dust collapse, which I could just go online and buy. But if you want to sell it to me, that's also pretty convenient. But you can also keep it. But so if I just go into like the Robinhood app, right? Excuse me. And stock market down today. Stock market's down a little bit today. So let's go to the Google stock and let's go to, oops. No, I don't want that. Let's go to the Google stock. We'll look at over 5 years. So look at the Google stock over 5 years, up 187%. Damn, dude. That's crazy because the stock market is supposed to go up by about 8% on average per year. So you can see how it just kind of skyrockets up. And that's because all that printed money has to go somewhere. It can't be left in cash. The cash is shrinking in buying value. And once again, the bigger problem for the lower class is that their jobs do not suddenly pay 180% more so that you can keep up with the cost of a Google stock, which means when you go to invest in your retirement, you have to buy the same retirement stocks, but at a much, much worse valuation. Now you have to pay way more to get one stock to get a little bit of dividend from that stock. Anyways, I'm just ranting. We're talking finance today a little bit, I guess. I guess today's the finance day. Here's Glaceon. But so, but I'm showing my understanding of all this stuff. I'm showing you guys I understand all this stuff that happened. And I think this all got started when we were talking about how Canada is struggling financially right now. The Canadians face the same problem of inflation. They can't buy a home. If you can't buy a home, you can't have children. The government says, you're not having children. Have no fear. We'll just bring people in from other countries, and you don't have to have children. They'll have children. And so that's what's happening to Canadians. It's what's happening in the UK. It's what's happening in Germany. It's what's happening in virtually every single country. The cost of living in first world countries is so high, no one wants to have children anymore. And the government doesn't fix that. It just says, all right, well, it's time to start importing people because we don't have enough people. So that is what's going on. You got the Dustclops box, man. Look at this guy. There we go. Whoa, dude. Master Ball and Reverse Hollow. What is superior, yoga pants or sundress? Yoga pants. Everyone knows it's yoga pants. I'm hoping XRP makes me rich. It could. Here we are. We're almost done, guys. We're at 1 hour and 22 minutes. I got to wrap up now, okay, guys? 1 hour and 22 minutes. Okay. All right. Did we get all 3 hits already? I know we pulled. Yeah, we did because we got the Eevee, right? All right, there we go. So that is the end of this box. That's Christopher Went. Anyways, that is the financial talk for today. I want to hear some of your guys' opinion. What did you guys think of all that? Maybe some of you guys understood some of that. Here we are. Because I bet some people just tuned it out. They said, yawn, boring. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got this Master Ball Dustclops. I wouldn't mind trading for it. But I can just buy one off the internet, too. I can't have kids because the carpets in my mansion are 4 feet thick. I think that was a lot of words. That's a lot of words. Too bad I ain't reading them. Christopher Went. How many guys think that was just boring? Like put the fries in the bag, bro. Kind of, you know what I mean? Put the cards in the bag. It's the AI voice. All the restaurants focus on learning about money. I don't know what was said because I came in late. We're talking a little bit about how the cost of living has risen. Inflation has destroyed your purchasing power, but your jobs have not paid you more to keep up with that. We're talking about how governments kind of spend endless amount of money, and people vote for that too. They say, the government really should just be spending a lot more money. We are. Okay, we're talking a little bit about the United States getting to be the world reserve currency and how that is secretly a huge benefit to the United States because they get to steal money from the whole world when they print money. So we print money and it steals from everyone. The whole world loses its purchasing power if they're holding dollars. And many countries do hold dollars in order to trade. There we go. All right, Christopher. So we were talking about all those ideas. All right. There we go. And here we go. Very nice. You just got an edumacation for free. I don't know if you could count that as education. I think if it stimulates your ideas or your mind a little bit, it's not bad. I don't know what was said because I came in late. Focus on learning about money. It's the AI voice. I bought a house this year. It was difficult, but possible. Nice, dude. Well, yeah, but if you had bought a house before COVID, you'd have gotten it like 40% off, maybe more. And that's scary. Houses aren't meant to go up by 40% in 5 years. They're meant to go up about 2 to 3% every year. So houses are supposed to go up a little bit every year, maybe about 3%. They're not supposed to go up 40%. And so that is a very bad sign, very unhealthy sign. Great if you already own homes. Then you're like, woohoo! So all the boomers just got crazy rich during COVID. They're like, we already invested and all this money printing serves us. Eat nothing but saltine crackers your whole life and you'll be rich eventually. Right, exactly. So you got all these young men, maybe like yourselves, who now have to focus on these extreme lifestyles just to break into the middle class, basically. Dude, just eat saltine crackers and someday you'll own a home that your grandparents bought for like 1/10 of the price. All right, I'm gonna take this shirt off, man. Ugh, too warm. Here we go. All right, let's print this label. One day, even you will be able to buy a small shack. At the age of 40. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna buy a Hellcat. Yeah, you're gonna buy a Hellcat. I hope the bubble bursts. But it's not a bubble. It's not a bubble. The United States really did print up a lot of money. So it's just the cost of things now. That's what people were saying back then, too. In 2020, 2021, people are saying the house bubble is going to pop any minute. Never did. Zachary M. Stex, get me in the Tyranitar break. Here you go, Zach. All right, guys, we got to start wrapping up now. Here you go, Zach Stex. It's not going to pop because it's not a bubble. The government really did double the money supply. So that's just the price of things. And so it was a rare moment that you needed to buy a house as soon as possible. As much home as you could on a loan at 3 or 4%. And now it's like 7%. It's crazy. There you go. My blank drives an Audi, which means I drive an Audi. Stonks. I have a Hellcat. Mister, turn the camera around. You want me to turn the camera around? No, I don't think you could handle it. I'm too beautiful. 1 Terra Festival. Here we go. All right. Bought me a Honda Civic Type R. Okay, let's snip this. All right. Unfortunately, vehicles do not appreciate in value, but homes appreciate, and they appreciate it like crazy. We are. Bianca. We bought a car too, though. Cars are a nice luxury. Karis and I bought a car. Maybe if we hadn't bought a car, we'd have more money to move. We have more cash in our accounts right now. Jimmy Therese, but it was getting pretty unbearable. It was time for us to get a new one. All right. Did you get my spot in the Tyranitar, says Manny? Maybe. I don't know who you are. I can see your YouTube name is Manny. Okay, we got Marco Arboleto, 10 EV Heroes. Okay, Marco Arboleto. Type R will keep its value. We are. Well, no car keeps its value if you actually use it. If you bring its, mileage up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I learned a little bit more about, cars that appreciate in value. And I learned there's a trick to them. You basically don't drive them. You bring them up to like 30,000 miles and then you sell it. And that's it. And these are often like collectible vehicles like Corvettes, which are on the low end of collectible, or some other fancy thing. Ready? Cold. Oh, Flareon. Drive them very little. Well, the idea that, hey, this item will go up or it'll stay the same price makes them look more attractive, but it's kind of like an investment trap. A real investment will go produce money for you. So if you take $30,000, park it in, I don't know, let's say you park it in Apple. Or here, let's make it real simple. You take all that money and you park it in some sort of high dividend yield fund. That'll actually make you money. Your $30,000 will not decline, and it'll actually produce money for you. If you go buy a car for $30,000 on a loan, you will actually pay the bank interest for that loan. Okay, but let's say you buy it in cash. So now there's no interest. The car will still slowly depreciate, but maybe not as badly if you picked a real collectible one. And in a very rare event, maybe if you bought a hyper collectible car, it even inches up a little bit, but it'll never outperform the dividend stock in the market. Ta-da! You did it, Marco! Ta-da! Flareon! Hey, that was pretty good. You avoided the snipe. I think a them tried to snipe you. Let me slab away that RAV4. Thank you for letting me treat my wife to some evolutions. No problem, man. Okay. Clipping this. Mr. Emmanuel, one spot in the Tyranitar. Emmanuel. The problem with cars, the moment you start using them, oops, that's with one M. They're like, I've said this before, they're like toilet paper. They're kind of a one-time use, you know? You start putting all this mileage on them and they wear out. And that really is how they are. They're like a much more advanced kind of toilet paper. And so guys who really love vehicles I think they talk themselves into sort of feeling like, hey, this was such a good purchase. I got the good one. But in the reality is you could have just taken all that money and dumped it in the stock market or gold or Bitcoin or even Pokemon. You could just go buy, let's say, cases of Terra Festival. Just leave it alone. There you go. So you got to be careful with cars because they will just eat your money. I put cars in the luxury category in my mind. Luxury and necessity as well. You got to have them. Unless you're living in a really urban part of America, then I guess you don't have to have them. All right, so this is going to be 14. All right, 14. I leased my Hellcat. You leased it? No! I'm going to import a Lotus so my grandchildren can drive it during the AI robot wars without worrying. I love my car. Hands down my favorite car I've ever had. Nice. Mister, take a look at a lot of the legendary Japanese vehicles. They're iconic and definitely worth more. I pay $723 a month, 0 down. Yeah, so I was buying a vehicle, and so I did a ton of research, and leasing is always a bad situation. The only reason a company is interested in leasing you a vehicle is because they can profit off of you leasing the vehicle. And what this means is like you're basically paying over the product price. So you really should just pick a vehicle out, buy it, and keep it for 10 years. That's what you should do. This is much, much, much better pricing than leasing. Leasing is the most expensive way to have a vehicle. All right. Let's see. I think we're done. You can do whatever you want with your money. I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. I just like talking. Okay. So, guys, I think I'll go ahead and hop off now. Car payment lull. Look at this beautiful card. Isn't this a nice card? I only believe in card payments. Card payments, like for an Umbreon. If I finance 6% at the time, that means that you're losing 6% on your loan. So it's a bad situation. It's always bad. There's like psychological tricks that salesmen will use, like it's only 6%. Yeah, but it's 6% on a depreciating asset, so it's bad. It's very bad. Nice Umbreon. Isn't that a nice Umbreon? That's a nice Umbreon. All right, guys, I had a lot of fun. We're going to be back on for the nighttime stream. We're going to have a giveaway for the nighttime stream. So there's going to be a free card for the nighttime stream. I'm going to go hang out and have dinner now at 6:30. That's not too bad. So I'm going to go hang out and have dinner now, and I'll be back on for the nighttime stream. I hope you guys will be there, and we'll just open tons of cards and talk with each other. This will definitely be going off. Bet your mama's titties that somebody's going to buy that last spot even when I'm not live. You're allowed to buy stuff when I'm not live. So this one's going off. We'll pick a new Pokeball at that point. The Mew is up by 3 spots. Somebody's buying into the Mew, man. So the Mew is up by 3 spots. And he's just weirdly popular. That Mew just moves. All right, so you guys have a nice afternoon. And, yep, I'll see you for the late night stream, which will start around probably 12 a.m., 12 a.m.-ish. What time is nighttime stream? 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. It should be 12 a.m., but lately it's been really late. It's been 1 a.m. See you later, everybody.